What's up, vinyl community? It's your boy Chris coming at you as always from the man cave. Wanted to take a quick video to show you guys some new finds, some very recent finds within the last couple of weeks, and some stuff that I forgot to show you the last recent finds video. But room's a little better organized now. Things are getting a lot closer to the way I want them to look here in the man cave. I'm trying to get it prepared to show you guys a room tour video of the man cave here soon. I get a lot of requests for that, so I'm trying to get it as close to ready as I want it before I do that. Okay, now, recent finds. Small stack of vinyl, not a huge stack like you usually see me doing these videos, but everything here is smoke, so there's that at least. First off, Oliver Nelson, Skull Session. And I know you guys can't see it because it's like a black stamp in the top left-hand corner. Maybe you can, maybe. No? Okay. But what it says is promotional use only, not for sale. So it's a promo copy. Beautiful gatefold, Flying Dutchman label. You guys know I love to show off my labels. And for you guys, you jazz novices just now diving in, if you see something Flying Dutchman, if you see anything Flying Dutchman, I'm a huge advocate for everything Flying Dutchman. I've got most of what was released on Flying Dutchman at this point, and one of my huge goals is to go ahead and finish that out. So when I had the opportunity to grab this one off a buddy, I had to go for it, and Oliver Nelson's awesome. A lot of you guys would recognize Oliver Nelson from some of his great releases on Impulse, some others. Great stuff. Next up, it's a very cool one, very neat release. Philly Joe Jones Sextet, Blues for Dracula. Tell me that's not an interesting cover. It's on Riverside. Bad. Original mono pressing. The cover is not perfect. It's a little imperfection down there in the bottom right hand corner. Cover's far from perfect, but on this album you've got Nat Adderley, Julian Priester on the trombone, Johnny Griffin on the tenor sax. Anything with Johnny Griffin on it, it's almost a rule of jazz. If it's got Johnny Griffin on it, it's usually freaking awesome. Tommy Flanagan on the keys, Jimmy Garrison on the bass, and Philly Joe Jones himself on the kit. And New York City, September 17th, 1958. And again, this is my original mono pressing. I love the Riverside labels. Getting ready to show that gorgeous bastard off now. You guys know how I wag and wheel by now. I love the Riverside labels. They're awesome. Pretty much everything ever released that I ever heard on Riverside is awesome. You guys, if nothing else, if you guys are not familiar with Riverside, there's a lot of Thelonious Monk's greatest releases are on Riverside, and that's just a fact of music. A lot of his best stuff's on Riverside. Next up, big upgrade copy from me. Hank Mobley. I've been saying that name. Hank Mobley. Roll call. Original stereo pressing. For the last year or so, I had a Japanese 200 gram mono repress audio file straight out of Japan. Actually came straight from Disc Union record store in Japan. A buddy of mine picked it up for me when he was down there on business, I think a year and a half ago. And he just picked it up for me because he knew I didn't have the album, and he knew I wanted it, and he knew how awesome that pressing was, and he knew it would hold me until I got my original. That same guy is the one who contacted me and put this original stereo in my hands. So I would show you the Japanese reissue, but as soon as I found out I had this one, as soon as I found out I had sealed the deal on this one, I went ahead and sold the Japanese reissue to a buddy of mine who just wanted to own the album. Blue Note labels, obviously. West 47, 63rd. I can only see I can see this being, I'm cool if this is my forever copy, But if I get an opportunity for an original mono, then I'll find this one a great home as well. So I don't need to have both. The original mono is my absolute grail for this one. But if I never find that, a first stereo ain't too damn shabby. And it's a phenomenal record. Art Blakey, anything with Blakey on it, Freddie Hubbard, Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers. I mean, this is just, I just listened to it about an hour and a half ago. I couldn't be happier with it. It's phenomenal. But for you guys, I'm going to get the info, the complete set of info. The reissue that I just told you about that I had is not a cheap reissue. It's a $75 to $100 reissue if you see it. So, but it's phenomenal. And for you guys who'll pay $75 to $100 but won't pay more than that, it's a pretty damn solid way to go. I'm telling you, it compares very nicely to the original stereo copy. I was just showing you guys. It compares very, very nicely. Okay, the next one, I'm sure I'm going to butcher this word, but I'm going to go for it anyway. Okay. Wilbur Hardin, John Coltrane, Tanganyika Strut. The glare in here sucks. I hate glare. Here, let's go for that. It's one of, I think, 3 releases, if I'm not mistaken, that Hardin and Coltrane worked on Savoy in the mid to late 50s. These are very difficult, damn near impossible to find. But when you find it, you've got to jump on it, obviously. It's a goal of mine to have everything Coltrane ever played on. Funny story behind this one. A few weeks ago, a buddy of mine had sent me some pictures. He had gotten in communication with a guy who was selling a whole bunch of his jazz records and was sending him pictures of some of the top finds, this being one of the top finds, of course. And he already had a copy, so he sent it my way. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, how's the condition on it? He's like, yeah, dude, the condition's as close to near mint as it can be for a 60-year-old record. So I was all over it. He sent me a text message a few days later when he got ready to do his usual and ship me a box, because he usually just ships me a lot of the time, or else he'd be at the post office every other day. Obviously, ain't nobody got time for that shit. So, and it was like, yeah, the guy's having a hard time finding it, so I'm gonna go ahead and send your package. He goes, but it won't have this one. He goes, but the guy assures me that he's got it. He hadn't lost it or misplaced it or anything like that. He just for some reason can't find it right now. Like, you know, hold tight. We'll make sure we get it found for you. And I'm getting kind of nervous at that point. I'm like, oh, because I'd already paid for it. And I think like 4 or 5 days later, I get a text message and it's got him holding it going, found. And I was like, oh, great, because what a relief, because, you know, you get so excited about having one. And this is also another very underrated label. I've talked about Savoy on here with you guys before. I love the Savoy label. I got this package in on Thursday night and had to work a 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 12s in a row. So needless to say, didn't have an opportunity to listen to any of them until just now. So that was the first album I threw on today, and I got to tell you, it's brilliant. So now I need the other 2 Hardin and Coltrane Savoy releases, obviously. Next up, upgrade copy for me. All right, so the copy that I had before I got this copy, well, I still have as of this moment, Hank Mobley Workout. And as you can see, it's got a lot of the familiar look with the white and blue original Blue Note label on it. But it is a 1988 U.S. reissue. And it's a good reissue. It is. Don't get it twisted. It's a good reissue. And I got it for reasonably cheap, but for very cheap, actually. And yeah, I mean, so it was great to hold me over. And I was hoping it would hold me directly over to the original, to the very first. But as it turns out, it didn't. But it did hold me over to this Hank Mobley Workout again. And it's not that glorious label that I love so much, but it is the black and blue 1970 reissue. It's like I want to say it's either the second or third stereo pressing, one of the 2. And it's an upgrade from the 1988 US. And it's gonna, you know, This one will no doubt belong to somebody else one day as well. For any of you guys, so this is my copy for now. This is what I'm going with. For any of you guys that would like to own a copy of Hank Mobley's Workout and don't want to break the bank getting it, it's a glorious album. This is the copy that I've had the last couple of years. Hank Mobley, Grant Green, Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers, Philly Joe Jones. If you want to own a copy and you don't want to break the bank to own one, holler at your boy, either in the comments, email, Instagram, direct message me, whatever, and we'll work something out. I'm here to tell you, you're not going to break the bank for it. I'd probably want 30 or 40 bucks for it, just to go ahead and throw it all out. But I don't have a reason to have two copies. I got my copy that I want for now, so I'd love to put this one in the hands of a fan. So for anybody who wants it, again, comment, email tunesfromthemancave111216@gmail.com, or Instagram direct message me, and I'll see if I can put a damn near mint copy of an all-time jazz classic in your hands. I'd love to. I'd love to help one of you guys out. Holla at your boy. Next up was a big one for me. Hampton Halls and Harold Land, for real. For real, like with the exclamation point, for real. Letting you know how for real they are. Hampton Halls, Harold Land, Scott LaFaro, and Frank Butler. Original mono pressing. By now, obviously, you guys know how I wagon wheel. Hampton Halls, of course, on the keys, Harold Land on the tenor, Scott LaFaro on the bass, and Frank Butler on the drums. This copy is, man, unbelievably clean. There's not a damn thing in the world wrong with it. It's on Contemporary. Another label I love. Holds, such classics as, say, Sonny Rollins' Way Out West, for example. Throw that one out because it's probably my favorite release on Contemporary. Another awesome label. There's nothing spectacular about it, but you know what you're looking at when you see it. And this one is clean. As soon as I wrap this video up, it's going on the platter. Can't wait. Got a handful that I want to show you guys that I got from a friend in the mail a couple of weeks ago. A friend, and he's a friend who's watched every video, who knows personal information about me, obviously. So he just basically gathered up all the information he's learned about me just from the videos that I've done, and sent me some 45s accordingly. Again, I've had these for a few weeks, but had them off to the side, forgot to throw them in the last No Additions video. All right, it's a 7-inch Journey, Don't Stop Believing on the A, Who's Crying Now on the B. I adore Journey. I always have adored Journey. A lot of childhood memories. My dad, mom, both huge Journey fans. Grew up on, every body of water in North and South Carolina on a pontoon boat, late nights, cranking Don't Stop Believing and every other Journey song that you can think of as loud as we possibly can. And still to this day, if there's a family get together, if there's something and we got time, Journey's cranking. And he can remember me talking about that probably in my intro video. So he hit me with that. Very nice of you, buddy. Next up, Paul McCartney and Wings. This is a song. This is really cool for me. It's Give Ireland Back to the Irish. As you can see, it's got the 4-leaf clovers. Very cool. Very neat piece. That's important because I am of Irish descent on every single connecting side of my heritage. So, yeah. I'm probably as close as you can be of being a full-blown Irish person without, having been born and raised in Ireland. So that's cool. The next one is a joke. His name's John. A lot of you guys, if you watch all my videos, probably know who I'm talking about by now. And a nickname he had given himself is a hashtag Johnny Hates Jazz. And come to find out, there is an actual artist named Johnny Hates Jazz, which is ha ha ha, you're funny, dude. But it's a ridiculous name, but and I'll probably never listen to it. Well, I don't know. I'll listen to it out of sheer curiosity. But I looked at a picture of the guy. He looks like a wannabe pretty boy to me. Not my usual preferred lane for music. It doesn't look like, but hey, maybe it's good. Shouldn't judge just based on the name, just because Johnny hates jazz and Chrissy loves jazz. Next up, some Motown Yesteryear Series 45. It's Al Green. On the A side, it's Tired of Being Alone, and on the B side, it's Call Me. He can remember me saying, I'm sure, that Tired of Being Alone is like a top 10 ever non-jazz song for me. Ever. I love Tired of Being Alone. I love it. Again, fond memories from my dad. My dad always had Al Green. You know, going back to the cassette decks, he had Al Green, and then he had CD, he had Al Green. So, always heard Al Green my entire life, and I still listen to him all the time. And anytime Tired of Being Alone comes on, I gotta crank it and I gotta sing it. I'm not gonna do it for you guys now because I don't want to lose 400 subscribers. Next up, this is huge for me. This song will never not bring back memories. If I ever forget why this song's important to me, that probably means I'm in a nursing home. Severely demented. So let's hope that doesn't happen anytime soon. Prince and the Revolution, Kiss. My mom and dad, to this day, this song comes on, they look at each other and sing it to each other. And like Prince style, and they have a blast, and dad, does the instruments and everything. It's great. And because of that, every time I hear the song, I get a huge smile on my face and sing it along to myself or out loud, depending on who I'm with. And yeah, the song will never not mean something to me. I had the album that the song was on. I had the 12-inch single, and now I own the 7-inch single. So thanks, buddy. Very cool. Next up, now this is really cool because it's an original Beatles 7-inch on Capitol with the original sleeve, and the sleeve's mint. The sleeve is in perfect condition, which you almost never see the original sleeves on 7 inches, and if you do, they're beat all to hell. But not this one. And yeah, like I said, it's the original Capitol single. 8 days a week on the A, and I don't want to spoil the party on the B. And there's a joke that I have with my friend John about the amount of pizza this guy eats. This guy is... People who own pizzerias don't eat as much pizza as this guy does. It's insane. Like every day he texts me, in a homemade too. Like he's not hitting Pizza Hut. Like he's home making these pizzas, which is awesome. I don't even have the balls to try that. But he's doing it like every day. How many days a week does Johnny Pizza Mouth eat pizza? 8 days a week. You guys get the joke. 8 days a week. All right, sorry. Next up is his donation to the Ramona Project that he came up with all by himself. And Ramona is my daughter. And for you guys, who know I've talked about this before, me and my wife and I wanted to, had two goals when we named our daughter. The first goal was to not give her an everyday, so common name that she's going to meet 4 people with her name every day. My name's Chris. My wife's name's Ashley. I talk to 4 Ashleys every day. I talk to 3 Chris's every day at work. That's not a joke. I'm not making that up. So as much as we like our names, we just didn't want Ramona to experience that. So we wanted that, and we wanted to give her a musical name. And so there are just so many songs with Ramona in it. In this one particular, Ramona, Cha Cha Cha, Bebo Valdez and his orchestra. And he sent me like 7 or 8 45s, I think maybe even more, with just the name Ramona and the title somewhere. So, big goal of ours, and it looks like it's pretty neat. Next up, some of you guys, if you saw my intro video way back when, will definitely remember me telling this story about my love for Dexy's Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen. So I have the original 7-inch for my mom and dad. And on the label, usually I hate writing on the labels or on the sleeves. This is the only record that I love it. Because on the label, in a red Sharpie, is written Mom and Dad's Wedding Honeymoon Song. So I love it. And that copy itself is pretty beat, because Mom and Dad played the hell out of it in the 80s and early 90s. And not only that, but then after they got rid of the turntable, then they stored them not very well. And so pretty much every album I got from my mom and dad doesn't play very well, just because they're not as obsessive about it as I am. But thanks, buddy. It's going to be a better way to listen to that song than the old beat-up copy. And two, finally, so I got sent a cassette deck. Cheers, my friend. After my video about talking to you guys about how I used to record my own radio shows from CDs onto cassettes using an old karaoke machine that I had. Never sang a single song on that thing. I just used it to record my own radio shows. Anyway, that was years ago, and about how much I would like to go back and be able to listen to cassettes I recorded. So my boy sends me a cassette deck, and after I got the cassette deck, then he sends me a bunch of tapes, and then I had another buddy send me a bunch of tapes, and then my friend Mike Guitar Player 07 on here sent me a bunch of tapes, and so now I've got a brand new cassette collection, and I didn't buy not one of them until now. I thought, there's a lot of albums, like 90s, like country albums and whatnot in particular, that I really love, that I'd really love to own, but they're not on vinyl. And it's like, okay, well, this is a really cheap, alternative way to still have physical media, is I can look up these cassettes. So I went and found George Strait's Carrying Your Love With Me. I love that album. Mom and Dad used to play it all the time in the mid to late 90s. I know every word. I just played it a few days ago, loud. I love it. And I went and found Kenny Chesney's Greatest Hits. This is all stuff before Buffett. And I make that joke because once Kenny started hanging out with Buffett, he started making that beat shit, and I don't like it at all. He used to make those, tender, good old country songs, and some more kicked up stuff like My Tractor's Sexy. She thinks My Tractor's Sexy. I like that stuff. That's fine. I like all of that. But after he put out When the Sun Goes Down, it was just, for him, is when my interest in his career went down. Because then it all started sounding like that. So, but anyway, I still love Kenny. I just don't like what he puts out now. So anyway, those are my recent finds. As always, the video managed to go longer than I thought it would. I'm like, I'll probably have this video done in under 10 minutes. I'm looking at 22 and a half now. But that's me. That's your boy. You guys know it. I love to ramble, love to talk. So, hope you guys have had a lot of great finds lately. To all the mothers in the vinyl community, Melinda Murphy, all you guys, and all you wonderful ladies in the vinyl community who have done your job and been such great mothers to such, no doubt, very lucky individuals over the years. Happy Mother's Day to you ladies, belated, of course. Happy, Mother's Day was yesterday, but I'm doing the video today, so happy belated Mother's Day to you ladies. Cheers for all the wonderful things you do. Lord knows I wouldn't be shit without my mother, and Lord knows I couldn't raise my daughter without my wife, who's also a fantastic mother. So, cheers to all you wonderful ladies. Until next time, until next video, keep dropping that needle, you guys.
What were you singing?